Welcome to another deep dive with us. This time we're going deep on Miyamoto Musashi, the
Musashi.
legendary Japanese swordsman. You guys sent us some really interesting material about his life.
Yeah.
And so we're ready to kind of uncover the most important insights and
Yeah.
surprising facts about this legendary figure.
Well, most people think of Musashi and they just picture a lone warrior,
Right.
undefeated in countless duels.
Right.
But his story is actually
There's more.
much more complex and interesting than just swordsmanship.
I'm intrigued. Everyone loves a good warrior story.
Yeah.
But you're saying there's like a deeper layer here.
Absolutely. Musashi was undefeated in at least 60 duels.
Wow.
That alone is incredible. But he was also a brilliant strategist,
Okay.
a writer and a philosopher whose ideas are still relevant today.
Okay, now you're talking 60 duels. Like, wow. I mean, I get nervous just thinking about public speaking.
Right.
But what about this famous duel with Sasaki Kojiro?
Oh, yeah.
What made that one so special?
That's a great example.
Yeah.
That duel really embodies his unconventional approach
Okay.
to strategy and warfare. He actually showed up late
He did.
to the duel. Yeah, which was a tactic he would often use to unsettle his opponents.
Wait, he showed up late on purpose. That's
Yeah.
a bold.
Oh, yeah.
I like it.
And get this, he won the duel using a wooden sword that he carved from an oar.
A wooden sword.
A wooden sword.
What?
Yep.
Okay, I'm starting to see why he's considered a legend.
Yeah.
It wasn't just about brute force with this guy.
Uh-huh.
He was outsmarting his opponents.
Right.
At every turn.
He understood that victory wasn't just about physical skill.
Right.
It was about mental preparedness
Yeah.
and the ability to adapt to any situation.
I like it.
Yeah.
This strategic thinking, though, wasn't limited to just the battlefield, right?
Yep, it wasn't.
The sources that you sent mentioned his unique two-sword fighting style.
Yes.
Niten Ichiru.
Nitin Ichiru. Two heavens is one school.
Oh, I like that.
Two heavens is one school?
It was revolutionary because samurai at the time usually fought with just one sword.
Right,
But Musashi saw an advantage
right.
in wielding both a long katana and a shorter wakizashi simultaneously.
Oh, wow. So I'm trying to picture this
Yeah.
in my head.
Yeah.
How did that even work in practice? Like, what advantage did two swords give him?
Well, imagine the element of surprise.
Right,
His opponents are trained to defend against a single sword attack,
right.
right? Suddenly, they're facing two swords coming at them from different angles.
Wow, that's got to be hard.
It was incredibly effective.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
So he was thinking outside the box.
he was.
Even when it came to kind of the strict rules of samurai swordsmanship,
Yes.
that's fascinating.
Mm,
It's easy to imagine him fighting in massive battles like Sekigahara,
right,
shaping the course of history with his two swords.
right.
Some of the sources even suggested that.
This is a good example of separating fact from fiction.
Oh, is it? Despite what you might read, historians believe he was actually in Kyushu
Okay.
at the time of that battle.
Oh, so he wasn't there.
Probably not.
So those stories are more legend than reality.
Most likely, yeah.
So we're already myth-busting. Okay, so if he wasn't at Sekigahara,
Yeah.
what was he doing? I mean, it's not like he was just constantly
Right.
dueling his way across Japan, was he?
Another common misconception is that he was a lifelong hermit.
Okay.
While it's true he spent time in solitude,
Right.
honing his skills and philosophy,
Right.
that wasn't his whole life.
Okay.
In his later years, he served the powerful Hosokawa clan
Oh, wow.
as a sword instructor and an advisor.
Uh-huh. So not just a fighter, but a teacher.
Right.
And a strategist, too.
Exactly.
This is starting to paint like a more complete picture of who he really was.
And this multifaceted nature is reflected in his most famous work,
Okay.
the Book of Five Rings,
Oh, yeah.
which he wrote near the end of his life.
Yeah.
And this is where we really start to see Musashi's strategic thinking applied beyond just swordsmanship.
This is where I get really interested.
Yeah.
So tell me, what was so special about the Book of Five Rings? What was in it?
Well, this wasn't just, a manual on how to swing a sword.
Right.
It delves into strategy philosophy, self-discipline.
So it's about more than just fighting. Like, what kind of strategies are we talking about here?
Exactly. He applied insights from swordsmanship to broader life principles.
Okay.
It's about understanding conflict,
Right.
decision-making, navigating challenges.
Hold on. So you're telling me that this book written centuries ago by a samurai can help me with, like, my everyday problems?
Think about it. The principles of assessing your opponent, knowing your strengths and weaknesses, choosing your battles wisely.
Right.
Those are all incredibly relevant today, whether you're in a boardroom, negotiating a deal,
Yeah.
or just trying to make a tough decision in your personal life.
You know what? That actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So he wasn't just teaching sword techniques.
Yeah,
He was teaching like a whole way of thinking.
precisely. And that's why the Book of Five Rings is still studied today
Wow.
by business leaders, artists, athletes,
Mm.
all sorts of people.
It's amazing how someone known for being like a warrior could have such a profound impact on fields that seem so different from swordsmanship.
Musashi believed that the discipline and focus needed to master the sword
Mm-hmm.
could be applied to any challenge in life.
Right.
That's the real legacy of the Book of Five Rings.
Yeah, and this idea of transcending limitations.
Yeah,
That seems to be like a key theme
it is.
in Musashi's life, always pushing beyond what's expected.
Right.
First, 2 swords.
Yeah,
Now applying samurai philosophy to everyday life.
absolutely. He embodies that samurai ideal of constant self-improvement,
Yeah.
always striving to learn, to grow, to refine his skills.
It's something we can all relate to, right?
Yeah,
This drive to better ourselves.
exactly. Whether you're facing a tough decision at work, trying to learn a new skill, or just navigating the ups and downs of life, these principles are incredibly relevant. Musashi's life offers valuable lessons that can
Yeah.
be applied to any challenge.
So what we're seeing is that Musashi's legacy goes far beyond just his undefeated record as a swordsman.
Oh, absolutely.
He wasn't just a fighter.
Right.
He was this complex individual with a deep understanding of strategy, philosophy, and self-improvement.
And that's what makes him so fascinating.
Yeah.
He challenges us to look beyond the surface
Right.
and see the deeper meaning behind his actions and teachings. It's no wonder people are still talking about him centuries later.
All right, so we've talked about his incredible swordsmanship,
Yes.
his unconventional tactics, and his
Right.
profound book.
Right.
But how does this all connect back to us?
Yeah.
People listening today, centuries after Musashi lived, what can we actually learn from this samurai? All right, so we've talked about his incredible swordsmanship, his unconventional tactics, and his profound book. But how does this all connect back to us? People listening today, centuries after Musashi lived. What can we actually learn from this samurai?
That's the beauty of it. Musashi's principles are timeless.
Oh,
Take the Book of Five Rings, for example.
yeah.
It's not just some ancient text gathering dust.
Yeah.
It's a practical guide to navigating challenges and making decisions,
Right.
something we all do every single day.
Yeah, give me an example. Like, how could someone apply Musashi's ideas in a modern context?
Okay, imagine you're a CEO
Okay.
facing tough competition.
Yeah.
Musashi's principles of knowing your strengths and weaknesses,
Right.
understanding your opponent, and choosing your battles wisely.
Yeah.
Those are all incredibly relevant
Yeah.
in the business world.
So it's like applying the mindset of a swordsman to the boardroom.
Precisely. Or think about personal growth.
Okay.
Musashi emphasized constant self-improvement,
Right.
discipline, and adaptability. Those are essential qualities, whether you're learning a new skill, breaking a bad habit, or achieving a personal goal.
It's almost like he's saying that life itself is like a kind of duel,
Yeah.
and we can use his strategies to win.
I like that analogy
Yeah.
because in a way it's true.
Yeah.
We all face challenges
Right.
and setbacks,
Right.
but it's how we approach those challenges that determines our success.
I like that a lot. This has been an incredible deep dive. I feel like we've uncovered so much about Miyamoto Musashi,
Yeah.
the man, the myth, the legend. We went beyond just the swordsmanship to explore his strategic thinking, his philosophical insights, and the surprising relevance of his ideas centuries later.
Absolutely.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And we've seen how those ideas rooted in the samurai code can be applied to our modern lives, encouraging us to embrace disciplined strategy and continuous self-improvement.
For sure.
Before we wrap up, though, I want to leave you with something to ponder.
Okay.
We talked about how Musashi's principles can be applied to business and personal growth. But where else could his strategic thinking be valuable? Could his approach be used in relationships, creative problem solving, or even tackling social issues?
That's a great question, and it really speaks to the enduring power of Musashi's ideas. His work continues to inspire and challenge us centuries later.
It really does. So keep exploring, keep questioning, and maybe even pick up a copy of the Book of Five Rings.
Yeah.
You might be surprised at what this ancient samurai can teach you about navigating the complexities of modern life.
Until next time, keep diving deep.